Good morning, guys. Today I'm going to be reviewing Animal Farm by George Orwell. So, if you want to feel victorious, this is only 150 pages. It's doable in a day and a half. And it's a classic. So, I'm on a kick of doing the classics that I have never gotten into. And this was worth the read. It was a relatively easy read, although it was a thought provoker. So it wasn't, lay back and do nothing. You did have to kind of be on your game a little bit thinking. It was really quite deep about power struggles and revolution. It was written by George Orwell in 1945 during World War II in response to the 1917 Russian Revolution. The two main pigs in this story, Napoleon and Snowball, were written kind of to reference Lenin and Trotsky. And at the time, I believe his sympathies were a little bit more towards Trotsky than towards Stalin, obviously. So it was a book about, the fight against totalitarianism, against cruelty and unfairness, and a little bit of class warfare type of situation. He was pro-democracy, pro-freedom, pro-socialism. His heart was really in it. I like that about George Orwell, which was, by the way, a pen name. His real name was Eric Blair. Fun fact. So this is the same guy. George Orwell is the same guy that wrote 1984, another dystopian novel that was kind of about false dialectics of how the power controls both sides. That was written 3 years after this book. So George Orwell was a really interesting character. He grew up poor himself, although he doesn't admit it. He went to these elite prep schools growing up in Sussex and discovered his kind of real, not hatred, but dislike of the snobbery of Sussex and British upperclassmanship. So he was all for the underdog in his books, and the oppressed. So I like George Orwell. If you haven't read it, it is totally worth it. People talk about it all the time, so I feel like it's a must, and I'm sad that I've just now gotten around to it, but I'm so happy I did. Such an accessible, easy to get through read. Also, I mentioned too, so after you read this book, the CIA bought the rights to it. Yes, the American CIA, and then they made a movie out of it. The CIA bought and produced a movie, the only movie they've ever made, and it was Animal Farm by George Orwell. It's an animated film intended to for a child audience, right, to propagandize them again for Cold War tactics. So that was done in 1954. I'll show you the. Let me see if I can show you the. There we go. Okay, this is the movie poster, Animal Farm, from the 1954 CIA-produced film. All right? Isn't that wild? So they changed the ending of that movie to be a little bit more palatable. I don't know, actually. I have to, but it was a different ending than the book. So I recommend reading the book and then watching the movie for historical purposes. But yeah, they were trying to control the narrative, obviously, and have people on their side regarding the Cold War in the 50s. This book was also distributed in, I think it was 16 different languages all over the world. So it has a massive significance in history. And if you haven't read it, I recommend it. It was easy. It was good. And now it's in the brain. So that's all I've got for you today. Animal Farm by George Orwell, 1945. Also, side note, I love the cover, the black and the purple. It just brings out my elder millennial memories of growing up. I don't know if y'all had the same experience, but like everything, when we decorated our rooms, it was all this black and purple or black and pink. And it reminds me of those days. So anyway, that's all I've got. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Happy reading.